You've reached the Union and Metro Street podcast, where we discuss the San Diego music scene of the late 80s and all of the 90s. From the shows we worked and the shows we played at Soma Live. Here we go. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Dan from Bucko 9.
He's a trombone player. Hi, I'm Jeff. Used to be the drummer of Bucko 9.
What other band were you
Hi,
in?
Jeff.
G-Spot, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Dan.
How you doing?
Good to see you, lads. I haven't seen two of you in a long time. I've seen Dan all the time.
Yeah.
You saw me in September.
Yeah, I saw you in September.
But you probably haven't seen Jerm.
I haven't seen Jerms, and
I've been hiding for a while.
yeah.
Definitely been hiding.
Now I know where you live. You're screwed.
I should have busted out the smoke machine.
Oh, yeah.
So how you guys doing? Dan, let's start with you, since you got beer right at your mouth.
Yes. Let me have a little quick sip. I just trying to kill the headache from last night, hanging out with this guy. Slept on his couch.
Yeah, old school.
Still keeping it real.
Yeah.
Was it comfortable?
Yeah, actually it was. That's not bad.
17-and-a-half-year-olds trapped in 50-something-year-old bodies.
I always say I'm 50 years old, you know?
Yeah.
I'm 50, but I'm really 53, but I'm 50 years old.
15.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, little kid trapped in an old man's body. Sucks.
See what it is, as soon as you accept it, then you just like, yeah, all right, I'm on the downfall.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of, what's going on with Bucko 9 these days?
Well, I'm sure everyone's heard, right? Jon had a heart attack. Pebs had a heart attack and sucked.
Had to cancel a tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to cancel the tour.
And what
I mean,
was,
it's just
and
it's
what was
just focused on
crazy?
our age.
What was crazy? I got sick on the 27th, and everybody was concerned about me. And then, 3 days later, Jon has a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's just way crazy.
Yeah, he's doing good now. You know,
Yeah.
We're trying to. We had to move the tour back to September, I think it is, and and hopefully it's definitely a life change thing for him. You know, he's going to change everything.
Yeah.
No more drinking, no more smoking.
Hey, I won't say that because we're a drinking man.
Yeah, just roll off the fentanyl a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. But,
So who was the tour with? I don't remember.
Muster Plug and
Omnigon,
yeah. And I think both bands are still going to do the tour.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're going to be. Yeah, they're going to come back in September. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that tour going to be at?
First was the Soda Bar in San Diego, and then we're going to play
we're going to do
the backstage
Vegas.
in Vegas,
and then we're going to head
and then we're going to play Phoenix.
Arizona.
I can't remember where that was at.
Then we're going to end up in
the Garden. It was Garden Grove.
Yeah.
Garden Grove to San Jose. San Jose to Frisco.
Yeah.
and
Frisco to Sacramento. Sacramento
north.
to Eugene. Eugene is Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle to Portland, and then from Portland to Yosemite.
Yeah, we're going to play a shit dive bar in a little
What's that town called? I can't remember.
Oakhurst.
Oakhurst.
Yeah, Andy,
Yeah,
our
it's the
bass
town
player,
in
lives
fr-
there.
Right.
I was
okay.
planning on going to the Vegas show and then going to a party with Andy up in Oakhurst. Thanks, Pebs, for ruining all that. Dick.
He was partying and the other party stopped. So
Yeah. Well, that's when I first talked to when I first talked to him. He's like, "Dude, party's over, bro. Party's done."
I've never, ever heard Pebs ever say that, ever.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
I know.
You're lying.
That was kind of weird. But then the next time I hung out with him, he's like, "Yeah," it was on his birthday. He's like, "Yeah, it's not our typical, birthday party, but who knows next year." Yes, there's still hope.
That's the spirit, Johnny. He's a trooper,
poor
man.
Jon.
Yeah.
Well, by the time this comes out, then the probably the rumor mill will take it a little further, but just so that people know. Now, is this tour for a new album that you guys are doing?
We only go out once or twice a year, so it's just once
Just
a year
to get out and play because people want to see you.
I think so. I mean, we just do it for fun these days, and we love it. And
weren't you guys recording a song or something?
They're recording a live album.
Yeah, the live album actually is done, but it's been done since like last year,
because that's like when we went out. We went out there and you guys were in the
middle of
studio.
last year. It's been done.
Yeah.
And it's just taking time. COVID's kind of messed it up.
Oh, yeah.
Is that coming out on Cleopatra?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we actually have about 2 albums worth of music right now ready to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Songs that are just, we have like 22 or 24 songs, something like that, 21 songs.
Damn.
Ready to go, Because what we do is
impressive.
Someone comes up with an idea and we just send it around through the internet and everyone puts their little flavor into it.
Right.
That's how we write music now.
That's cool because how many different states are all the members in now?
Let me see. Steve lives in Colorado.
3.
Tony lives in Nevada.
Everybody else, Cali.
Yeah. But northern. But we're kind of spread out. So it's kind of, I miss the days of practicing, being a real band. I miss those days.
But then going on tour, you can cram it all in a couple weeks and
but
come home and
writing music. It's better to be into like where we're all in one little room or just jamming and coming up with. It's a little different when you do it through the internet. It's like, you do your part and it loses for me. It just loses a little bit.
No, I totally agree.
As to being in a room together and everyone's so try this, or even like as a horn player, you can hear something when we were previous albums where you're like, hey, instead of trying like that little part, try this, or you can sing it,
right?
And it's like you give like everyone's like collaborating, throwing ideas off each other.
The synergy's there.
I miss that.
Yeah.
Well, when was the last time you guys were all in a room together? Like when you guys actually did that before? How long ago was that?
97? No, I don't know.
97.
Probably on Sustain in 2007 or
So you guys did that for Sustain? You guys were all together?
we had rehearsed and rehearsed that album and demoed it like 4 times before we ever went to Double Time and actually recorded the album. So we knew those songs pretty well.
I was checked out of that album, remember?
Well, he claims to be. He was there.
I was there, but I was kind of like mentally checked out. Yeah. I just showed up and played my part.
Back when you were doing heroin.
Yeah.
Was everybody pretty much in Dago at that time?
Yeah.
When you guys did Sustain?
Pebs was in L.A.
Yeah.
He would come down.
No, not that. He wasn't that far away,
Yeah,
like Andy or Steve.
Actually, Andy had the rehearsal room at Greenfield Studios over.
He was Steve.
Well, I know. But I'm saying like Steve now. Steve's all the way in Colorado.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We FaceTime with Steve last night. Cheers, Steve Bauer. I love you, buddy. Yeah. Remember?
Oh, shit,
We were at
I
the bar.
forgot.
Remember? We were at the old sod last night.
he was there, but
I
he
forgot.
was there, but he wasn't there.
And Steve called me on
I was
FaceTime.
there
We're
in
like, hey, what's up?
I was there in spirit, I guess. I don't remember. But
What bar were you guys at last night?
we were at the old side.
The old sod.
Sod.
Right around the corner from me house.
Yes.
So what sorry about that. With the tour, tell me more about what sort of places are you guys playing now? I mean, is there still, with COVID, with all the restrictions, everything going on? I mean, I know people weren't working for a while, and movie, I got a friend up in Hollywood. He wasn't working. No one's touring. So are these places like decent places with the tour, or is it?
I think.
Is it just
we
dive
just play
bars?
like these days, like the band. We just play smaller venues, like 2 to, just a club, just a small club.
Yeah,
That's just it's all we draw these days. Is, but we just go out and we have fun, and it doesn't matter for us who
right.
shows up. If you show up, cool. If you don't, cool. As long as we're all together, that's all that matters for us.
Yeah,
Well, the last show that you guys played wasn't a small club.
What was that?
Supernova.
Oh yeah,
Dan already forgot.
I already forgot.
Yeah, I would say you guys at least could pack 1,500 seaters. Or
I would imagine
easy.
so.
Yeah, but Dan's a skeptic. You know, he doesn't believe the band's as good as it is.
Well, how many people do you guys play in front of in Japan?
4,000 people.
4,000.
Big difference.
Sorry, that was racist.
Yeah, that was.
Dick. You've been canceled.
Yeah, Japan is yeah. I mean, it's weird. You know, you go over there and you haven't played very much, but then when you go there, there's like super fans and
energy in the crowd that boosts
like,
you.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, everybody's huge in
Where'd all these
Japan.
people come from, you know? So, yeah, we always love going there.
How many times you been to Japan?
Well, with Bucko 9,
No, with Casey and the fucking Sunshine Band.
Well, I mean-
Yes, with Bucko 9.
no, but I used to play in Voodoo Glow Skulls,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, that's
So I went
Sorry.
there like a couple times, 2 or 3 times with them.
Was it always the same amount of people with either band?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because they just love American music, right?
Oh yeah, the American, you know, punk, ska, they love
Whatever.
it. Yeah, they love it.
There's some crazy noise that used to come out from Japan, the Boredoms and Melts Banana and
Melt Banana's playing now. They're on tour right now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I used to love that stuff.
And Loudness.
I had their vinyl back in
Love Loudness.
'84 or whatever.
Was that band Guitar Wolf, right?
Yeah,
They played some.
yeah. I mean, we had Union. We had Boredoms come through, and it was another one of those where everyone just kind of looked at us like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And I don't remember who they played with, but I loved it. I got the CD and I would play it all the time. Just absolute chaos noise.
When I first joined the band in '98, it was probably my second major tour. We did Canada first, and then it was like immediately to Japan. And we got there, we walked into this club, like the first night we were there, and Sepultura was playing. And we're just like, this is fucking awesome. And we're like, in the middle of freaking Tokyo, you know, Sepultura is playing this
That was
club.
'98 when it was all the original lineup.
Yeah.
So Max was still
That was amazing.
Oh wow!
singing. Yeah.
So how many times have you been to Japan?
Just once with the boys. But you guys have been, at least 4 times.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Last time was in 2019, right? And
Yeah.
When Tony lost his
that's
two
what I was
front
gonna.
teeth.
That's what I was gonna mention. What happened?
Part of my fault.
You busted him in the face with a trombone.
No, we were, doing our thing on stage, and I happened to step on his foot at the time he was leaning forward, and then
He fell into his trumpet.
and then he fell in and mashed his mouthpiece into his teeth, and I look over and
Blood.
his blood coming down like on his gums, and he's trying to play. I looked over and he's trying to play, and he's like doing his little like what the with his tongue and his lips, and I was like, dude, no. I was
Raw
like,
nerves hanging
giving
out of
him a
your
hand,
teeth.
like,
Oh,
no,
God.
don't, dude. You're
gnarly.
fucked up. No. And before he even realized that he lost his teeth or half his teeth, and it was so awesome because he was like, once he figured it out, he just put his trumpet down and he fucking went in the pit. And just the rest of the night, like 2 or 3 songs, we were like, had 2 or 3 songs left. He just fucking went into the pit and fucking hung out in the pit.
Just
and then after
so
that,
he didn't have to deal with it.
yeah, and then after that, we went and ate sushi and shit. And he was trying to eat it with his fucked up teeth. He was trying to eat sushi. He was like, it hurts.
God, it makes
cold
me
cold
cringe.
sushi
Oh, it's awesome.
with the nerves.
made me snort.
It was so bad. He just fucking jumped in the pit. It's like,
So did he after that happened? Did he even sing anything?
no, that was the last show.
So it was the last
show
couple
of
songs.
that tour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's saying, I'm calling in thick.
I'm calling it.
So you finished the show with him in the pit. So he didn't perform after.
No, he just went
Got
in the pit
busted.
and just danced around the rest of the time.
He's
He's a
expendable.
trooper, man. He's a badass.
He sent me the photos from that.
Yeah.
Like I guess was it Andy that had recorded And there was like still frames of him busting his
Oh,
mouth.
I felt so bad. It was partly my fault, but
Shit happens
it
on the
happens
stage.
On stage.
Grab a couple of chiclets, throw them up front. You're good.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
And they're tasty.
Chicle.
Poor Tony.
Well, speaking of, okay, so Busted Teeth. Let's go to the origin of the band, like the very beginning. Let's just pick it apart. I mean, how did the band form?
Through the reader, like we were talking earlier.
Yeah, another
Literally,
reader
that's
band.
how I got into the band. I was playing reggae music,
Mm-hmm.
and
With
I was in the ska.
what band were you playing?
Called T.I.R.E. Dread.
T.I.R.E. Dread.
T.I.R.E.
Okay.
Dread.
Which played Soma,
They're
right?
still around. They've been around for like 35, 40 years.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did a show with you guys at the Music Box a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Was Seamus in that band?
There's
On
so
bass?
many dudes run in and out of the band. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, this would be.
It's the two twins. No, not in bass. It's Fred and Rod. Rod is the bass player, and he's always been a bass player.
Oh, okay.
Fred, who
Then it
plays
would be a
guitar.
different band.
Yeah, they're the twins, and they've kind of, they've been doing it since the 80s, early 80s, I think.
Yeah.
Just playing reggae music, and I joined in the late 80s, and then I was getting into ska. I want to play some ska, and then open up the reader. Ska band looking for horns. Yes. And I answered it. Craig, our sax player Craig, called. I called him, like, he said, yeah, we have practice. Every Thursday it was cool because every Thursday you get to go to practice.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that I was talking about earlier. Like, I miss that,
Yeah.
It's like not a job, but it's like something you look forward to every week.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
And it's consistent.
And was Tony in T.I.R.E. Dread?
Tony, me and Tony were in T.I.R.E. Dread together, and then I brought Tony into
Because you guys
Playing.
grew up together, right?
yeah. And actually, I stopped playing
Oh,
trombone.
Farrell.
I stopped playing trombone when me and Tony graduated in 1986 from O'Farrell SCPA, and I stopped playing my horn for like a year. I was like, I was done. And then Tony brought me in, back. He's like, hey, we're having this little party at my house, and can you play horn? I'm like, nah. And he's like, come on, blood. Back then, everyone called each other blood. Come on, blood, just play. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And once I got that,
Yeah.
it's like a drug again. It's like a drug.
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
Playing again, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Back. So, and then,
And then
Probably
what year
back.
was that?
1987.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then back then the ska scene, and it was kind of there, but not. It didn't
it
get
was.
too.
Because me and him, he actually played with what was it? What are they called?
The Specials after he got out of Vietnam.
No. Me and Tony played with
Gangbusters,
it was
Donkey Show.
Donkey Show was.
no, it was Angelo Moore's cousin. We went to high school with Damian Dunmore's our friend.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy
And
Longlegs.
Yeah, it was pre-Daddy Longlegs.
Okay.
It was pre-Daddy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what band that was, and I
And
can't.
we played with them for maybe a couple months, 2 or 3 months, and we wrote horns and played music and played a couple shows, and it was fun.
Yeah.
We just couldn't. The way I think of it is, we weren't at that level, so I don't know. They wanted to progress more, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know how we. It's so long ago, like.
Oh yeah.
Was I kicked
Yeah.
out of the band, or was I not kicked out of the band, or like.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember, but yeah, it's pre-Daddy Longlegs. I think we were called
Long leg
Bad
daddies.
Was it Bad Attitude?
Bad attitude. Yeah.
That sounds
it's-
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Mike and all those players that played in that band are still super musicians. Like, I'm just a horn player. I kind of suck, but but those guys are super musicians and they're still doing it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember back. Well, when I was hanging out with Short Lived and slowly coming up to the idea of doing what ended up doing at Soma, that would have probably been, because I graduated in 86, so later 87 was when we started, or 88, we started going to shows. And, there'd be, by then, Daddy Longlegs would be around.
Yeah.
I think Donkey Show maybe was fizzing out, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But there was the rockabilly, psychobilly. But the shows, the ska shows, were the ones that I like to go to because it was cool. Everyone was respectful.
Yeah.
It was really amazing musicians. And at some of the coolest fucking places. And I could show up in my leather jacket and my mohawk.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, chased down like I was some stupid punk, even though I was. But, the community, I always have said this before, and with John in the documentary thing, is if it wasn't for that scene, I wouldn't have been able to get the confidence to do what I did at Soma. Mm-hmm. So for me, like what I like to hear is the origin of all the bands, how they actually got together. Because, I don't have a single, Cockroach is something that we joke about doing again, but we already did. I think we agreed that we did 4 shows, but I've never had anything that had that longevity. Mm-hmm. And you guys had that brotherhood, and just that, to me, I nerd out on that stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, everything, like, Jeff, when did you come in? Where, I need to know all the histories.
I was a huge fan of Bucko 9 before I joined, and when I did join, I asked all those same questions, and I became kind of a historian of the band. Like, I probably know more than half the guys in the band. Like, Buck Naked came out in 91, and blah, blah, blah. The first cassette tape you guys did. Where did you guys record that at? Do you remember? Buck Naked?
No.
It was a cassette tape, right?
Yeah.
And then Songs in the Key of Bree came out in, 93, 94, something around there?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I remember where we recorded that.
Well, I was double time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Jeff Forrest, man, who's recorded every album in San Diego.
Yeah. But, yeah, Jeff joined in,
98.
98?
It's funny, I actually had a dream about a month before I got a call from Scott Kennedy that I had to fill in for Bucko 9. I swear, I had a dream. I was like, I have a lot of these dreams. I've been in the Beatles, Foo Fighters. Right. I still have these dreams, but at the time,
I still pretend that Ozzy's my dad. So,
I'm always filling.
He doesn't know it, but
I'm the fill-in drummer for half the bands on the planet.
True that.
And Scott Kennedy called me. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to try out for a real band?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, God.
His exact quote. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because I was in G-Spot at the time. And I went and tried out. And that was very eye-opening because, G-Spot was great. My friends, I came home from college in 93 and joined that band at a house party. And it was just like, that was the way it was. Mm-hmm. And they never really wanted to get on tour. And I was always like, let's go on tour, guys. Let's get outside of, Arizona and LA. So I was looking to join a band that was touring. And so Scott called me. He's like, try out for a real band. I went, tried out on the same week that Robin Diaz tried out, which was the drummer they ended up picking outside of me. He was a killer drummer, but he was more like a rock drummer, right? Didn't have the ska chops. And they went to Australia with him and came home, and they were like, yeah, he's out of the band. Can you be in Canada in like a month? And I was like, yeah.
But now he plays for Candlebox and shit.
Yeah, like
he's like a rock drummer, like a mega rock drummer.
He's done fine for himself. But
yeah.
Well, so that you don't feel guilty for replacing him
Not at
in
all.
a real band.
Thank you, Robin. And Steve for bowing out for that short period of time, because, it changed my world, And Pebs called me, he's like, hey, man, can you be in Canada in a month? And I was like, yes. I had no passport. I was like, I had to get the passport rushed, and I was hung up that phone call, man. I was jumping the walls like, I'm fucking Bucko 9, man. Like, oh, my God. And went to Canada and Japan and Australia and, 15 years in that band. It was a lot of fun. But that first rehearsal, back to that point, was the power and the sound that the band had in that rehearsal room was mind-blowing, man. It was different than the band I was in at the time.
So what's crazy is you were in the band longer than Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He quit.
What real band is he in now?
I don't know. What is he doing?
He's in a band called Parenthood.
Oh, yeah.
No, actually, me and Scott and our friend John formed a band called Plural a few years into the
Good.
thing.
Good. And put out an album, too.
And put out 3 or 4 records, I guess. But, just on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Scott's still a good friend of mine. I still talk to him now and then. But yeah, he was over it and whatever. So then we got John Bell from Unwritten Law. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then
The bass player?
Yeah. He was in the band for a while.
Yeah, and then
About a year.
that's when Pebs had Off Ramp Records, and he brought out on that tour. He brought out the first band he signed, which Mark Arnold was in from Big Drill Car, the Scrimmage Heroes.
oh yeah, the Scrimmage Heroes.
Very good band.
That's
The
right.
Scrimmage Heroes
They were great.
were the shit.
Yeah.
And who
I was a
who
fan.
got
Yeah, we were
who
big fans
got
of
on the
them.
Scrimmage Heroes?
You?
I did,
Sweet.
because Adam Neal, who was the bass player of that band, actually worked for me at Soma.
Nice.
He was my stage guy, and he started doing sound.
Yeah.
So hey, John, check. John started the record label, and I
Yeah.
go, hey, check this band out. And that's when John was running the Epicenter.
That's right. Yeah,
So
I remember that.
I'll check them out, and then they started that tour, and then what happened with the Bell?
Oh, yeah.
So it was Japan Bell's first tour with us, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to Japan, Bell's first tour, and Tony was always on the cutting edge of whatever technology we had. If cell phone, he had it. If there was a recording device, he had it. And he had a digital DAT device that he had bought in Japan, and we just plugged it straight into the board at the Osaka show and Tokyo shows, the 2 shows we played, and they recorded it straight off the board. And the mixes and the sounds were so good, we turned that into a live record, which came out on Off Ramp, which was one of John's first records he did. I guess was ours. Hellos and Goodbyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we took it to a master in L.A. and just had him master it, and that was it.
Came out good.
Came out pretty good.
That's, yeah. The first line. Sorry, we're a little late. Our drummer's out back puking, and then
Our drummer's throwing up.
throwing up. And it's all 1, 2, 3, because you were.
Yeah.
It's like,
One
you
of
just-
like the 4
just
times
puked.
I've puked right before we gone on stage. The first one was when I first joined the band. We were playing it Belly Up. Like my family was there, and we rehearsed. I was confident, but I was like going to the show, and I was just like, blah. Okay, I'm good, ready to go.
Yeah.
Just nerves or
Yeah, just like nervous energy and warm water. I drank like just a thing of warm water. I was like, that didn't sit well.
No.
And then outside of the Key Club, threw up one time there, and then in Scotland, the night after we were smoking hash and tobacco cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to Bell, you guys were touring the U.S. when something happened to him.
Yeah, we were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're on our way to Pittsburgh. Luckily,
We got to that club. We were there. He had been looking a little peaked for the
prior
4 or
to
5 days before that. He was just pale as a ghost.
and he was shitting blood.
Yeah, he was. His blood was coming out of his hiney.
Yep.
And we thought, oh, you had a bad slider at White Castle or something.
Yeah.
But he was walking across the stage during sound check in Pittsburgh and just collapsed. And blood was coming out of him, and it was like, whoa. And it was just instant. Like, call the paramedics, get him to the hospital. He was in the hospital for 4 days before they diagnosed him with Meckel's diverticulum.
Yeah. Which is another stomach that grows in your stomach.
Well, I think it's basically when you're born, your umbilical cord from your belly button on the inside of your stomach can be a little flap of skin that slowly gets eroded by stomach acid in your 30s or so. It just boom, and
you bleed out.
It took him a few days to figure it out. Luckily, we had all signed up for insurance on that tour.
Yeah.
Cobra insurance.
Yes, we all got insurance,
like which
The
we
band
never
bought-
had before.
Yeah, the band
Yeah.
bought the everyone insurance.
Yeah.
And we went on tour, and
But we basically canceled tour in Pittsburgh, got in the van or the RV, and just drove back home. And that was kind of the beginning of what seemed like the end at the time. It was like, well, we're done.
That was pretty much the end of Scrimmage Heroes too.
Yeah, the ship was sinking.
It was a tense drive home for sure.
I was there.
We were staying at a hotel that had a Howard Johnson attached to it. And in my infinite wisdom, I thought, well, the bar had closed and it just had like these swinging saloon doors. It was still accessible. It was darkened,
Yeah.
So I walked into the bar and I grabbed a bottle of Jack Daniels from behind the bar. And I thought, oh, the boys are going to love this, put it in my backpack, go up to the room.
You leave a 20 or
And
a
they're
note.
like, you
or a...
motherfucker, you stole a bottle of Jack Daniels. I'm like, sorry, I thought, we're all just trying to. So during the course of the evening, it fell over in my backpack and just soaked everything I owned in Jack Daniels. And it just emptied itself. And the next morning, it was like, whap, whap. Do the
I've
walk of
heard
shame
so
to
many
the RV
stories about
drum.
and you just smell like a barroom floor.
Yeah, I wasn't greeted with the accolades I thought I was going to be greeted with. Everybody was like, "You fucking."
He didn't try to wring it out and get some of it.
Suck it out my underwear, like a little bit in there. Come on.
Oh God, there was times that I've been known in the early days to go around and try to find which beer I might have left a little bit in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this guy.
Oh yeah, man.
This guy.
You round him up at the end of the
Hang
night.
at the end of the night. Just go by the door and knows where all the full ones are. So just go by the door. And
I'd always stash a couple in mine for the after party. Dad's like, I know you got a couple left. I'm like,
yeah. Always.
Oh yeah, I'd leave for a while there, so I didn't piss off when I was doing Sin 77. I didn't want to piss off the drummer because I was supposed to be sober at the time, and he would just rake me about anything that was going on. He was, the breakup was imminent. It was my band, but it was coming, so I had little gin bottles, and it was at the Ken Club. Yeah, we're just going, oh yeah, I'm getting some picks, grab a gin bottle, and then drink it so quick, and I'm not really a gin drinker. So then I'm like, whoa, fuck, I might puke. I can play. I'm fine. I'm professional. But it was, obvious. I'm walking away looking like I just freaking swilled a bottle of gin really quick. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I was working just crap jobs, aerospace jobs, whatever. So when we went on tour, I was like kid in the candy store. And first bus tour we did, I would just stay up all night. I would sit with the bus driver and just drink beers. I'm like, I'm seeing America, man. This is like, and these guys have been through the ringer a million times. They're in bed responsibly, at like 2 a.m. I would go to bed when the sun came up, and then they would wake me up at like sound check.
5 or 6.
5:30. Come on,
Our tour manager's going, could someone wake up Jeff?
I was a vampire, man, for several tours. I never saw the daylight.
So with them, did you only do bus tours?
And RV, I think. Yeah. We was RV first tour, and then we had one bus tour when we were still doing.
So you guys had a tour
Libido.
bus?
Yeah.
Nice.
Through TBT, we had a tour bus.
You did vans back in the day, or one van with a trailer, maybe?
I never had to do a van. I only did RVs.
That's how we started. It was a little gray van, little Chevy,
That was
12 passenger with our trailer was no bigger than this table. It only fit a couple drums in there, and that was it.
And that was with Mike Lucena and Roach.
Yeah, our first tour.
You guys had the MARP zone, dude.
Yeah, we built the MARP zone. That's what we call it, marsupial zone in the back.
Oh yeah.
So we built this little area out of wood, and then the bottom part you can just crawl under there, and it's all dark, and you just like go in there and sleep the whole drive. And it's like you're like a little possum or little.
That was before my days, but I would hear the stories about it. I think Scott was in there, right? And you guys were towing a trailer through Colorado or something.
No, we're in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I was driving.
Is it the snow accident where you guys spun out?
Yeah, because what happened was I was driving, and it was super windy. When the weather gets like crazy, I'm the dude.
Oh, okay.
Dan's the man when it comes to driving those RVs.
I get under there.
He can flip a Yui and like within 3 lanes. He can flip that.
Yeah, if
RV.
stormy conditions are abound, Dan's behind
the
wheel
guy
for sure.
And so we're just driving on the freeway. I see black ice coming. So when black ice comes, you let off the gas pedal. You just kind of let it ride over. You don't touch, no brakes. You just let it ride. So all of a sudden, it's so windy. I look in the river in the little side mirror, and I see our trailer just pulling to the left because it's so windy. It doesn't have a lot of weight.
Right.
It's so windy. It blew the trailer over, and then when the trailer blows over, there's no coming back.
That's the shit moment right there.
You try to I saw it, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then I remember going to the left, to the right, to the left,
to the back.
Hi. No. And then all of a sudden we spin around like a couple of times and we ended up in a little ditch there.
Yeah.
And then broke out the back window. Scott was laying right there.
He was in the MARP zone, which you can imagine how scary that would be, being in a dark enclosed space and your van spinning around.
That's so funny.
You're like in a vortex, just going.
That's so funny you guys brought that up because when I toured with Papa Roach, we had the same thing. That little,
little MARP zone.
Yeah,
and it's cool because I had it up until about maybe 10 years ago. I saved the MARP zone because we would do little drawings on it, so it had everyone's a little personal. Cool shit, their little art and little sayings. It was cool. And eventually I got rid of it. I can't save everything.
Yeah, that was probably a technique that they learned from other bands. It's kind of a, make a little space. At least one or two people can get some time off to just crash.
Yeah, I remember that from early days. I mean, even skateboarders still do that. But it's just out of practicality because, before anyone had any money, and if you got a van, you have to utilize the whole freaking thing. And it's, you're right there next to the people. So if you don't like the people you're touring with or in your band, or if there's any tension,
you're fucked.
Yeah, that's probably why I never toured because it was me and myself and Irene.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine because personally, I don't like driving that much, and I can't drive and when it starts raining hard. But if I got a whole bunch of people and I got someone in a little, the cocoon in the back, I wouldn't be screaming no shit. I'd be jumping out going, you're on your own. I'm out.
So I want to bring up, speaking about touring, I remember hearing that your guys' favorite tour was with Smash Mouth.
Yeah. Smash Mouth. That was a good tour for us, actually.
You just didn't get along with the band.
Yeah, it was good because we would just take their fans every night because they had so much radio play, and we were supporting them, and we're up and coming. We had a little, My Town was I think number on the charts 20 something or 30 something on the charts. They call it a soft hit.
Well, you had 52 radio stations across America playing it. That's pretty good.
It's a soft hit. It's a soft hit.
Because I remember the Machines were recording, I think they were recording maybe battle hymns. And so Jay and I and Royce actually went to the Glass House. That was the last show of that tour. And we went over there, and I just remember I think we were talking to Scott, and he was just like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad we're done with this band. I hate these guys."
Yeah, they're kind of, it was a trippy time. Our drummer, Steve, almost beat up the singer, Steve, of Smash Mouth. We were in Stone Pony in Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember I was setting up merch, and all of a sudden, our drummer, Steve, singer Steve's going down, and our drummer Steve's behind him. Come here, motherfucker! I'm gonna kick your ass right now. I'm gonna fucking. He was literally chasing him down. And he wanted to beat him up.
Wow!
And it came from because singer Steve was like, I'm more punk rock, or I'm punk rock, and this and that, and I mean, it kind of offended Steve, our Steve, and he's like, "You ain't punk rock," and he was gonna kick his ass for some reason. And
so was the singer Steve afraid of Steve?
Oh, he was running from him.
Nice.
That's the story I got.
That guy acts like he can kick everybody's ass.
Or I was on the stage, and then they just went right by. I'm like, holy shit! And then, so it became and we're a band, so we're a team. We're like, oh, fuck those guys,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's more of you guys than there is in Smash Mouth.
So well, fuck them.
Somebody once told me.
What happened, and this was a bus tour too. So there were always, you're on a bus and fans always like, try to get on. And then this group of girls were knocking on the bus door, and like they came on the bus and like, "Are you guys Smash Mouth?" And we're like, "Yeah." Can you sign her? Can you sign her? I don't know if it's T-shirts or something. We're like, okay. So we signed it as them, and we put stuff like "fuck you and your mom," or I eat poo," or we suck, shit like that. We signed it and we gave it back to them, and then it somehow got back to them, and then their manager called the next day. Called our manager, and they're like, "Yeah,
that was Kathy, right?"
Yeah, and they were like, they were so pissed they were going to kick us off the tour over that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how you know they're not punk rock. You should just fucking laughed at it.
Yeah,
yeah, you dumbasses don't know who the band is.
Exactly,
laugh at it. So they were that. That tells you they're not punk rock, and so they were going to kick us off the tour, and then our manager and the label talked, and they were like, "Okay, so check it out. If you guys are going to kick us off the tour, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go one day in advance, and play free show every day for free, and
just fuck your tour up.
Just to mess your tour up, and then now."
They're like, how are we going to get on MTV and promote that these guys are dicks? Because Smash Mouth is the greatest band in the world.
I remember asking Steve Bauer about that story. I was like, what happened? He was like, they would never strike their drum kit.
Yeah.
And
literally that stage.
Yeah, exactly. They had fucking one hit.
So tiny. Like Steve literally would have been at the edge of the stage.
So Steve was already just like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
And John would have been to the right or the left. It was like that tiny of a stage.
Yeah.
And
you guys would be playing on the floor.
Yeah. Which we've had.
I think Scott said I saw Steve Bauer take his glasses off and run out the door. He's like, I knew shit was going down.
Oh, yeah.
Like Steve was ready to knock that motherfucker out.
I saw him.
I have to give Bauer some props.
Oh my God, please do.
Your ass right now.
He's my hero for sure.
So whose infinite wisdom was it to book you with Smash Mouth? I mean, that
sounds like a label thing.
During the time of, we had a little radio play.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the charts. So it was just, they kind of were in that little mix of, I guess, friendly ska or reggae. Or,
right.
Kind of part of that a little bit.
Trying to do the crossover and develop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
so it made sense if you're trying to, for the label, okay, well, we'll put them with them because.
Were they signed to TVT?
No. They're doing, they're in
somebody
big
bigger label.
Shit. Yeah, they're. And
I know usually label mates will tour together, So
yeah, it seems like the most bizarre. If I had to book something with Smash Mouth, I wouldn't put Neurosis.
Well, check this out. Bucko Nine is talking about weird tours. Talk about Bucko Nine and Primus together.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Les Claypool.
We supported Primus 1 month tour.
I could see that better than Smash, just because Smash Mouth to me seems like spring break.
It was awesome for us.
MTV.
No, it was awesome because what we did is, I think we're a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you guys
more raw,
and then we're more raw,
edgy,
and so every night went in front of their crowd and just boom,
killed it.
Boom, just
because you guys were punk. Smash Mouth was pop.
Yeah, they seem very industry generated.
Yeah.
So did you guys see record sales and everything bump up because of that tour?
I think so. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention back then, at the numbers. I think that's more of a John question because he was more into what are the numbers and what are we doing. And I think that's more of a John.
Am I going to get my per diem?
Yeah.
We didn't have per diems, man.
You didn't have per diems back then?
Well, we did. Our first per diem was $3 a day to eat.
No way.
For one day.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty low. Because I heard in the 70s, the guys
Taco Bell, baby.
In the 70s,
we gave each other $3.
Dude, the 70s they were getting paid $100 and something per diem.
No,
per day.
We wouldn't. Our first tour, only $3 a day to eat.
That's crazy.
And,
And no catering?
you might get one pizza for the whole band at night, but other than that, $3 a day. That's all you got.
I remember leaving the club with $3 in my pocket, going, "Yeah, I paid all the guys to clean up the lot." It was a
What year was that?
it was a venture year. There.
That was a
Because you could actually stretch those.
that was a
$3.
Scama Loser tour, we called it.
Because when I was out with Papa Roach, I mean, we were getting a lot more. I think $15.
No, we got $3
yeah,
a day.
I could live off of.
That's insane.
I could live off of Whoppers.
You just get
For
yeah.
only a
two bean
buck back
burritos
then,
and 2 bean burritos and a little taco at
and some water.
Taco Bell, and then no, you just order. Yeah, you get water.
Scabbalooza
And then you just
tour
get
was-
3 lemons and put sugar in it. And you got lemonade.
Scabbalooza tour was what, 94,
Yeah,
5, something like that.
it was called Skamageddon, and it was with MU330, Gangster Fun, us, and I forget.
Was it I can't even say their name. Mephistopheles?
Mephistopheles, yeah, I
I
remember
I
that.
don't think they were on that tour, but
I mean, Link 80.
yeah. What happened was we all got sick and
Taco Bell.
shit. Like you know when you show up to you hear when bands show up to club and they're like, "Wait, who are you? You're not booked here." And we're looking at our paper and it's like, "Yeah, we are." And they're like, "No, you're not." So that shit was happening. And we're like, "Fuck!" That's why we called it Scama Loser.
Was the booking all screwed up or what?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the booking agent who was actually dead now because he used to do heroin.
Oh, no wonder he was doing heroin while I was booking.
Yeah.
Probably.
Booked the wrong places and sent you guys somewhere else.
We stayed at his house. He lived in the South, dirty South somewhere, and with I remember we stayed there with what's on Tang Records.
Bosstones?
No, it's another band. They're out of big fat dudes.
Tad.
It's more kind of
I think they were on
Damn.
they're old.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
punk, and we were on tour, and we stayed at our old booking agent's house with them. What's the dude's name? Oh, I forgot. But I remember he
The
fucking
Samoan dudes?
snored. No, the white dude. And he snored like fucking grizzly bear, and we're sleeping on the floor. It's so big, and we're like, and the whole house is rocking with his snoring.
What kind of music were they?
Kind of 80s punk. Like
Was it the Mentors?
no, they're on Tang Records.
It wasn't. Was it Battalion of Saints?
No.
No, you'll probably find it
EA?
faster than me if I look it up.
Yeah, I forget.
Aaron,
We played a show, like we did little shows with them here and there. And then I just remember sleeping at our old booking agent's house. And then his wife's sister or girlfriend was trying to hook up with band members. It was kind of weird. I was like, I don't remember that. No. Shit was fucking funny back then. BA? Is that his name? BA? He snored like a fucking...
Just type into Google group of fat guys on Tang Records.
I know. I'm trying to.
Because, when you get overweight and shit, and, you snore.
You snore like a bird.
There's a lot of air coming out of that belly.
There's like Negative Effects.
Nope.
I'm trying to remember what freaking bands back then.
The mind's a bit foggy these days.
Oh, God, the fog is foggy. It's hard. I start thinking of something and I go, oh, yeah, I should probably. Oh, skateboards.
Oh, yeah.
Skateboards. Oh, something haunted. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, my pants. I got to go to the bathroom. Jeez, skateboards.
Squirrel.
I know. Butterfly. I did that once, a graphic, completely off subject, but I did just the little dotted lines. Little dots going across the whole deck and then a butterfly. Yep. That's a skateboard, crossed it out, butterfly. I think I sold it or probably gave it away.
And all
it wasn't a very popular
one. You painted all these?
Yeah, the majority of them,
Amazing, man.
So I brought up the Smash Mouth tour. How was the face-to-face tour?
The one through Canada?
When you guys were promoting 28 Teeth.
That was, I think I don't know if that was.
That's the first time you guys played Ventura.
Because I know we did a whole face-to-face tour in Canada.
Well, this was America.
Okay.
Because you guys, again, that was the first time you guys played Ventura, because I was with you guys when you guys played Ventura the second time.
Oh, I mean,
Wipe
sure
the
it was
cobwebs
good. I
away,
mean, I
Dan.
love face-to-face. So
Nobody remembers.
no.
Straight up.
I remember exactly what happened. This
I remember
is
the Canada tour.
You don't remember Scott Shiflett, the bass player from Face to Face? He was he had neck surgery. He was in a brace around his neck.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That was the later days. I'm thinking about the earlier days.
No, yeah, this is after 2018. This is you guys were out promoting that album with Face to Face.
We were.
Well, I know that Bucko 9 did tour with Face to Face probably before 2018.
Well, this was after.
No, this is during 2018.
Yeah,
It was one of the
after it
first
was
tours
out,
you guys
we
did.
went,
right?
it was after it was out.
You were on tour when we tried to get Meeks. Remember a hooker?
That was with Suicide Machines in Canada.
Oh, wrong. See?
Yeah.
It all meshes.
Yeah, that was my first tour with Suicide Machines through Canada. And yeah, we tried to get our roadie a hooker for his birthday.
So that's the one that Peeves called you up and said, Canada?
Yeah.
30 days.
My first tour.
yeah.
30 days, get a passport, get your shit together. I was just like, yeah.
So
Suicide Machines, man.
Yeah, the
Fuck
first
yeah.
tour was with the Machine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
What year was
Machines
that?
1998,
1998.
July
Nice.
15th. It was a Wednesday.
I have a weird my first presentation to the Suicide Machines.
Oh, yeah, I've heard these.
I heard the story before.
It's very good. It's very good.
I guess
Was
you
it
can talk about it
Royce's
because
dick on your back?
the guys you're going to talk about aren't in the band anymore.
It was
right?
like 95, I think. 95. Because I used to be like a custodian for the school district here.
Mhm.
So I used to be able to take like a month leave of absence and shit. So I flew out, I think, was it Buffalo? I forget where it was. I flew out. The guys already were on tour and I, had to do my job.
Mhm.
And then I flew out, and when I was going, they're like, "Oh yeah, this band we're touring with, man, they're kind of crazy. They're crazy." And so first thing, I show up, and a couple of the Suicide guys came up, and they come up on you, try to pat you on the dick and shit, and you're like, "Okay, go ahead. So what?" and that was probably one. Those guys touring is pretty rad because they had this thing called Shit on Command. And I've watched it. They literally will just pull their pants down, open their cheeks up, and shit. Like, just splat, splat. You're like, what
That's a
the
great punk name.
fuck?
That's the name of a new band.
And then they had a roadie. His name was Slave Steve. And they
What? That's just already it's getting bad.
yeah, wow, it's rad. They would hook up.
They weren't woke. Were
Oh,
they?
it's rad. They were like, I can make my dick fart.
Yeah, dude.
And you're
The
like,
dick
nah, what? They're like, yeah, I'll show you. And they would literally put straws. They put it straw, start
Like the
penis
mini
hole,
coffee
and
straw,
then,
you
and
know?
then put them all together to where they all the way to their mouth, and they would blow air into their dicks. Blow air.
Oh my lord!
And they're like, watch it fart.
And they'd pitch
And
it out,
literally,
like,
yeah, they would blow air into their fucking dickhead and fucking fart out of their dick.
Oh my
I remember
lord!
watching
So how
Royce
long
do
have
that
they
on-
been on the road?
Yeah. And they were kids. They were like 18, 19.
the
They were
Suicide
kids.
Machines
okay.
were definitely
Suicide Machines.
dick
We used
obsessed.
to have
Yeah.
40 boat parties at Mama San's. I think Royce lived there in their basement. When we go to Detroit, we have 40 boat. They would just literally come with crates of 40 boats, and we'd go in the basement and just have a fucking party all night long. And then Royce would put on animal porn like at about 4 or 5 in the morning.
That's Royce.
Yeah.
who's now an attorney.
Now an attorney.
Were
Sorry,
those,
Royce.
were those the Depends parties?
Yeah,
Where just
no,
shit
you
and
put
piss
on
yourself?
animal porn, and we sit there going, but you still can't stop looking. It's weird.
That's it. I'm having too many flashbacks of weird parties.
No, animals fucking humans.
Yeah.
Or humans fucking animals.
Yeah, both. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. And not the furry ones.
You're like, gross.
Were they playing German scat porn too, or any of that kind of crazy stuff?
I don't remember that.
I had heard so many stories about suicide machines before we went on tour.
Awesome.
I think Royce famously got naked in Scott's sleeping bag.
Yeah, I heard
with him.
about
Scott, our original bass player,
Homophobic.
a little bit here and there. No, he wasn't homophobic.
More of a
What it was is
germaphobe, I think.
He was dickophobic.
No, it was the same tour where, like the guys told me they're going to fuck with you. I'm like, okay, touch my dick. I don't care. Like, I've been on tour, whatever. So Scott's like, no, he was always like,
He was fighting it.
when you show that you care, they're going to fuck with you more.
Right.
You know
yeah.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, if you don't give a
So
shit.
one night we're staying in, I don't know, some barn. It was like a old house, or someone's family had an old house in some buttfuck Egypt cornfield, and all the band stayed there. And so literally everyone's sleeping bags in the living room. Everyone's just hanging out. And then Scott had to go pee. So I guess Royce and Slave Steve got butt naked, and they went in his sleeping bag together. So when Scott got out of the bathroom to come back to his sleeping bag, they're like, hey.
Come join us.
Yeah.
It's a sausage party.
Our last show,
That was fucking funny as fuck.
our last show of the tour, when I was with them, we were playing the show, and they had Royce or somebody in the band had put baby powder in between my hi-hats. And I was playing this fucking just powder is just going, and then Royce comes up behind me, butt naked,
Oh,
and
yeah,
just rubbing his dick and balls on my
your
back.
back. I
'Cause I
remember
was
that.
shirtless. I'm playing. It's like
Yeah, these
motherfucker. For a whole show, just it's just like
yeah, butt naked. Yes.
yeah.
That sounds like
I
Royce.
love that shit.
I still have the scars from that.
I actually missed Royce. I hadn't seen him in years.
Yeah, he was such a fun dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Nice cock too.
From what you can feel?
Was it big? It was big, smooth, and veiny.
Yeah,
And farty.
and it would fart.
Did he shoot darts out of it?
I'm sure he could have. That motherfucker could do anything.
I'm amazed they didn't join the Jim Rose Sideshow Circus.
Totally.
Jim would have fucking definitely gotten a kick out of it.
Yeah, those basement parties are pretty rad. One good memory too with those guys was drinking at this hotel. We got one room, and somehow they knew how to get up to the roof. They had a secret route, and we went up on a roof, drank all night, and threw all our bottles at the abandoned building across the street. You drink, you just throw your bottles.
Fucking hooligans.
Oh,
So was that in Detroit?
yeah.
Yeah, of course they knew all the haunts and places to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another good memory of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, those.
Didn't their van get broken into when we were on tour with them in Detroit? We were playing at St. Andrews Hall.
Probably.
We came out and their van got
It's gone.
busted.
Yeah.
That was gone. Somebody stole it.
And they just busted in and stole some shit from them. We were staying at Royce's house that night, I think, right? Detroit's not a savory city.
No. Well, like we went early days, went with Struggle. Some of the guys in Struggle and Short Lived to play Gilman. And that's where I made a bunch of contacts that I brought down and was able to get like Ill Repute, and
Green Day.
Tony brought me. Well, that was afterwards. That's the closet I'm playing with my shoes story. But Tony from Ill Repute.
He brought Offspring.
Yeah, which for a tour with the Grimm, and that's I brought that up, but nonetheless, they weren't big at that time at all. But when we were up there, we stayed at this place called the Bates Motel, and I actually wrote lyrics out for a song, and it was in Oakland. So we had a van where the non-partiers were. Then we had a U-Haul, which was big enough to put the van, all the equipment, and probably a few homeless people in, or some bodies if you need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
It was huge. So because we didn't have enough sense to bring equipment in, we would make people sleep in the vehicles
Right.
in case they got broken into,
Monitor,
because
yeah.
they'd be killed.
I think you guys had Roach
And-
do that. But
Roach would do it.
Yeah, Roach would sleep in the
Yeah,
bus.
he would do it.
or
We're
the
like,
van.
no, dude,
Yep.
sleep. He's like, nope. I'm
Security.
sleeping.
watching the shit. Smart.
Yeah, it's almost like he was a dog. We're like, no, dude, sleep in the room. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm sleeping in the van.
We learned that the hard way in
Roach.
Vegas once.
Roach
miss
was
Roach.
was the man.
But that's the stuff on the road that people don't think about unless,
Yeah.
they've been on the road, because there's certain places you pull up and, luckily, Soma was different, but downtown, you guys remember downtown.
Yeah.
If you're not watching your back and you go around the back end at that loading dock down there, who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
So if you have a car down there and you leave anything in it, a guitar or anything,
Gone.
it's gone.
Gone.
If your car's even there.
Yeah.
And then the idea of getting police down to do anything about it is why? Then they're going to shut down the show.
Well, that was the funny thing with Union Street, or I shouldn't say funny, but scary. You didn't know if you were going to make it into the venue, and then you
Yeah.
didn't know if you're going to make it out of the venue, because it was just so much chaos going on.
Yeah. And I don't remember if I necessarily always had to lock up that one on my own. But yeah, at night, even going down there in the day when I go down there and open it up. But at night, and then also, as we were talking with earlier about the cockroaches, freaking cockroaches are, and they fly. So I'm in there, mopping up the bathrooms at the end of the night or whenever. One of those fucking things comes out and tries to eat my face. So I scream like a little girl. Ah!
Because famously, you hate cockroaches.
Oh, I hate them. That's why I named the band Cockroach.
Right?
God, I hate those fucking things. Downtown was gnarly, but
Not
the
a fan.
Thunderdome, looking at those pictures, God, it was like iguanas, but not. It was
Not as clean as iguanas.
yeah, not. No, it was. I cleaned the fucking place.
It wasn't as nice as
That was actually my favorite.
iguanas
Soma.
or Union.
Yeah,
No, iguanas down in TJ
Yeah.
we're talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's my favorite.
Three
Soma.
stories.
Do you guys ever play
Yeah.
iguanas and have them serve you beer out of a 5-gallon bucket with a ladle? Because that was pretty awesome.
No.
Like literally backstage, we played there. It was a plastic 5-gallon bucket that you would put concrete in for a job site.
Yeah.
It was full of beer, and there was a fucking soup ladle, and you would just ladle it into your cup and like, Viva Mexico!
You know the thing I remember.
Only in Mexico.
The other thing I remember about iguanas was
It tastes a little bit like bleach.
the guys walking around with the tequila bottles and pouring it down
of
your
course,
throat.
With the whistle?
Blowing the whistle.
Yeah, of course.
And then you jump off the third story into the pit.
Oh yeah.
Those were the
But
days.
speaking of,
Ladle me a beer.
so Union was that's my favorite. I mean, that's where I started everything. That's
My
you know.
favorite Soma.
But remember the Scottish Rite Center.
Oh, I remember playing
Yeah.
that show every time I pass it. Even to
I know.
this week.
I do this.
I pass it, and I remember the shows when it was shut off for a while.
Yeah,
Scottish Rite. We were
Well,
doing shows.
yeah.
I
What
remember
about
that.
what
because we
about
were
the-
trying to find Metro.
Yeah.
What about the
I remember
sports
that.
arena?
And I was
You
in-
guys played at the sports arena a couple
Yeah.
Oh,
times.
those New Year's shows are fucking awesome. Man.
Awesome.
Yeah,
If you can get that lineup right now, shit.
I just got freaking
it'd
chills
be-
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Can you
You'd be
imagine?
sold out.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, those are big chills. Just to get half of those bands, like the first one when we had Deadbolt.
Yeah.
I think that was another one that I had to.
Deadbolt. Yeah, those guys.
I love those guys.
They had the image on stage and the sound.
Oh, they still do.
Fucking-
If I
Still playing?
was a little loose on the alcohol right now, then I would do my Harley impression.
The scariest band in the world was.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, yeah.
My wife still has a sticker. We have an old Scariest Band. And actually, again, I know I brought it up before, but Deadbolt is one of the original bands that, and when I very first started, even before I was booking shows, who I talked to. I talked to Harley and Les. And I'm like, yeah, I'm making this compilation. So eventually I got to book them at Soma. But, there was, 6 bands in the bar and then another,
But they were a
12
Casbah
or-
band.
yeah.
Remember back in the day? But I would tell her, like, back in the day, you had summer bands, you had Casbah bands.
Mm-hmm.
Casbah bands would, the original Casbah, 50 people,
Right.
75 people.
That'd be like Inch and No Knife. And
And they were getting all the
bands.
love.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
all the
indie
love.
bands.
It was all Casbah bands getting the love. And then,
Getting
the
signed.
Soma bands were selling out 1,500, 2,000 people. And it was like, I remember back in the day thinking like, why? This is kind of weird. Like, they're getting all the love, all the Casbah bands.
Right.
And we're selling out this venue that's holds 2,000.
And then bring in one of them every now and again to open up. And they bring in 200 people, maybe. But
And now we're a Casbah band.
Well, the other thing is,
We're all old now.
where are those Casbah bands? They never went anywhere with those.
Yeah.
Whatever they got signed, they didn't really go
They're
anywhere.
on compilations all over this world.
They're on a documentary called "It's Gonna Blow," and it
Yeah.
blew.
yeah, there's that. I mean, I don't want to completely throw, a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks, but I will admit, for what I was trying to do and trying to, build the bands and build a scene, it was bad enough that I was trying to do it under Len, but
Yeah.
somehow I was able to kind of do what I did. And then eventually, everyone was taken away from me, ripped away like candy. And I'm just standing there going, I got to find new bands to develop because, everyone graduates to the main floor. But the scene was it was just so split. It was literally the bands that might be able to bring in a couple hundred people, really, talented. And in our town, we're not fucking LA, we're San Diego, and these are all San Diego bands. But then you got like the Shea Cafe.
Yeah.
And then when Izod started doing whatever his thing, and then like Soul Kitchen and the division, and just the idea that no one could like put it all together and go, you know what, we're all in the same fucking town.
Right.
We could either pay to play or we could, keep being cliquey. But, I mean, shouldn't we all be going for the same goal? And then out of that, once the money started coming in and people started getting picked up and then, you started to tour properly, it was like, things were already falling apart at that point. But you finally got an opportunity to do those things. There's so many bands that didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful to Soma and Len and everybody back then for G-Spot. We were opening for all the coolest bands. Like, we never toured, but we were like able to open for a lot of cool bands, and we got to do one of those New Year's Eve sports arena shows, and that was like mind blowing because I had seen Van Halen there and the Scorpions, and like now I'm sitting on the fucking stage at the sports arena playing a show. Met Tim Armstrong backstage, and I think the Aquabats played at that show. So it was like Travis Barker.
I think that's the one where I was doing fart jokes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were-
the keyboard player for Unsteady, what's his name?
John?
Not John.
Oh,
Boy,
no,
but oh my God, keyboard guy, dreadlocks.
Oh man, I cannot remember.
Totally
I see his face, but yeah.
Anyway, he was backstage
Shout
with
out.
his girlfriend and had a camera and took a photo of me and Tim Armstrong and me and Travis Barker at the time before he was in Blink, I think. And to this day, I was like, "Where are those photos? Could your girlfriend find that disposable camera picture and just send it to me because it was pretty cool."
And you guys are playing in front of 7,000 people.
It was amazing, man.
Those
That
shows
was a
were
crazy experience.
as much as we hated them, we did love them because that was a great event.
Yeah, again, see, I'm getting chills because for me, it just basically my first real concert was Iron Maiden with Twisted Sister opening up. I was so fucking bored and I was so scared. I was young and I never really went to shows. I wasn't, I was pretty much, it's the same thing at Soma. I'm in the back. I'm hidden. I don't like being in the crowd. If I am, I'm, yelling bomb or whatever just to get through people because I, nervous. I don't want to, but all those fucking bands playing and how big this scene got and playing at the sports arena
It was huge.
I mean, come the fuck on.
That's incredible.
That's pretty, double middle fingers. Fuck you.
It was a way to
We
ring
did
in the
it.
New Year for sure, man.
It just, it's,
You know what's weird?
All class.
Thinking
dude.
about it,
Badass.
it started in '94 at the sports arena doing those New Year's Eve shows, and it ended in 2004.
oh, wow.
Yeah, and I just thought of that, and I did.
They did.
I did all of them except for the first one.
Who played 2004?
Well, it was the 2003, the 2004.
Yeah,
that was the last
what bands?
one.
Do you remember the lineup?
I think Me First and the Gimme Gimmes were like the headliner on that one. It was like Thrice, Yellow Card. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think the year we did it, 96 or so, it was like Aquabats, Voodoo Glow Skulls, G-Spot Open. I think maybe Blink.
Because what was weird,
Yeah, Blink would have been there. Unwritten Law.
Yeah, Unwritten Law.
Bucko 9.
Bucko 9 should have obviously been there.
Those New Year's Eve shows started when Solo came to Metro.
Yeah.
And then Golden Voice did one of them. And then there was none from 99 until 2002. Because
Wow.
we did 2002 to 2003, and then 2003 to 2004.
How does that come about? How do you guys get a venue like the Sports Arena to agree to a fucking New Year's Eve show?
It
in advance?
I'm trying to remember, like,
You have to pay
somehow,
for it in advance?
Yeah, we got to rent it.
yeah.
Yeah, rent it out and just say, okay.
some infinite, because we were doing, remember the Summer Slams, which we were talking about earlier. It's the name was kooky because I thought of wrestling and all that, but however many bands 10 bands or whatever we were doing for those. But Len always, you got to give it to him. He had a vision. He's like, I want to fucking take over the Sports Arena, and primarily those things were local bands. So it's somehow in his infinite wisdom, he was able to talk to the powers that be to let a bunch of freaking.
It was the owner, Ernie Hahn, back then.
Well, he must have something.
And that's how we got Soma SD. That's how we got the theater, because Ernie Hahn owned that.
I'm not here to cast any disparaging remarks on Len, because we all know the rumors and stuff from the day, but you got to hand it to the guy. He was a hell of a businessman. He knew what he was doing.
He made it happen.
And he could fucking do.
Did you know he wanted to be our manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, then there was the rumors.
No, I never knew that.
Then there was the rumors that he had Kathy beat up, other manager.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember hearing something about that too.
Is Len living in the Cayman Islands now? What is he doing?
Who knows?
Sailing around the world somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Money and run.
He did that. He did that with Golden Voice and Metro. He basically sold the name to Golden Voice and took off.
Wow.
I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then if
we can just leave it at that. 'Cause, I can keep saying fuck
I don't want
you.
to be knocking out my door late at night.
If we have any sports arena questions, we can ask Dan. He works there now.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's got a badge.
I got a badge.
We can get in there for free.
What about the old Samoan that was
Tony? He passed away.
He passed away. There's a little plaque on the
the ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because I would see him every now and again. I'd be there at swap meet or something. And it'd be like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude, see, I got chills right now just thinking about it.
Awesome.
Because those guys took care of me. When it came down to it, they just, and I know who I was back then. I'm not really
right. They're bouncing at Soma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Tony was, I think, related to Misa.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah, he was uncle or something. That's why when we first did the first show there, you guys remember what
I remember looking out in the crowd to be the couple Samoan. I just call them the Samoan brothers, and they'd be right there, and they'd be
Ground control.
all happy, and just
Yep.
Yeah.
you
They were
respect,
cool as
and you're
fuck.
like, "What's up, man?" And they would just do their job, and they weren't dicks, and they were just like,
Yeah.
help people.
Because you know what, too?
I remember.
All
They
they
were
had,
just
all they
full
had
of
to
love.
was be the presence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nobody was going to get out of line.
Yeah, who's
because
gonna
all
fuck
these
with
big
that shit,
guys.
right?
Yeah. Especially
And
when they
people,
could just pick you up.
Dude, I remember that when people did get out of line, and a lot of times it was like either skinheads or these Navy guys that were drunk.
Right.
Lawrence would be just walking one of them out.
It was never
One hand.
a kid from the scene. It was always some outsider bullshit that would happen.
Yeah.
Kids knew what to do.
It was a major respect thing, and see that again, all the formulas that we had going on there is what made it so amazing.
It was so great, man. It was a magical venue, magical time.
Yeah.
I think about it often and fondly. It's so cool.
It took me a long time actually to come out of my shell because I was just going to write a book where I was just going to
You should still.
I was just going to beat the shit out of everything, but we have a better plan. But the idea of doing a podcast and actually talking with people,
I love it.
because a lot of people I never had a personal relationship with. I was just, I'm there, I'm doing my thing, or if you're lucky, hey, this is Jerm from Soma. Yeah, can you play the show with cockroach. Yeah, I need you there at 6 o'clock. Don't be fucking late. You get 1 guest per person, 2 road crew. That'll be all. Thank you. So I was just doing, but I didn't know any better. I was a kid. I was, I'm the same age. When I started doing that, I was 21 years old. So I didn't know. I never ran anything. The only thing I ran from was cops.
And since we got Dan here, I gotta play this little ditty here.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe Dan can talk about this here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 From the very first time that I saw you, I knew that we would play together. You're running around, you're such a treasure. Speaking words, they're getting better. I watch the things you do. You always lose your shoe. You sometimes make a mess, but that's okay, I guess. I wish you were here right now. I want you standing right next to me. I want to see your smile. I want you standing right next to me.
Someone's trying to make me cry.
That's one of my favorites off Fundamental. It's a great song, Danny.
I'm still
That's
waiting for him
awesome.
to
It
play
has that
live.
impact still.
Yep.
I don't know if we'll ever do it live.
Got to, man.
It's about your grandbaby.
Going back to giving me chills. That's awesome.
It's a good song.
It is.
Yeah, some people think, well, it is a love song. They think it's about a girl. And it is about a girl, but it's about my grandbaby.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
tearing up
another
now.
reason why
Not
you need to
joking.
play it.
Love it.
You got to do it once. Got to do it live once.
I think we tried once and then it
Didn't work.
failed. Like,
Tony
we
was
tried it
missing
during
teeth.
rehearsal and everyone's like, oh, okay, no, we're not going to do it. I'm like, okay, whatever.
So you guys never rehearsed it?
I think we tried to rehearse it to play it, and
Well, you might have to play it now because John might have to take a break.
Yeah.
So he might leave the
hey,
stage.
it's up
and
to
then,
dudes. I can sing it.
and then
John
you
can
play.
wheel off in his wheelchair to the side and you can sing a song for him
Yeah.
and he'll wheel back on.
I can see, yeah, like sing about my grandbaby while I'm in his wheelchair.
I don't know if you knew this, but I was actually writing up the set list for this tour we're going to
Oh,
do.
serious?
Yeah. So I'm going to throw that in there.
Yeah, throw it in. there.
Definitely, man. I want to hear that song live.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah, definitely got to be a first. Even if it's a last, at least it's done once.
Yeah, I would try it. I mean, I'd probably forget. No, I can just,
That's why I loved Fundamental for that reason. It was like, dude, you guys put a song, like something that kind of deep and obscure of a song
Yeah.
from the band. Like that shows real growth, I think, in a band. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, put your song on, the song you and Tony wrote, basically, right?
yeah.
That album's good.
It's so good. Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah, me and Tony have a formula. Well, we just get drunk together and then write songs. It's a good formula. It works.
We've been doing it for years.
Well, you guys known each other pretty much your whole lives, right?
Yeah. Since we were around 14.
14?
Babies.
For some reason, I was thinking younger, but 14.
Yeah, about 14.
So high school.
Yeah, I think 8th grade we were in, I think, when I first met Tony. 14, yeah.
And O'Farrell was like a performing arts school, right down in Otay.
Originally, it wasn't. O'Farrell was just a junior high, and then SCPA came in.
It's where the bad kids went.
Well, originally, but then
Right.
SCPA came from Roosevelt into O'Farrell in like 1980, 83 or something. I forget, but I was in O'Farrell in 7th grade, and then in my 8th grade year, it changed over to SCPA.
Cool.
And that's what created what I do now. Like it's weird how those little things that,
Does that
set you
school
on the
still
path.
exist? Like, can we get?
it's in Bonita now.
We need more schools like that.
Yeah.
Promote art and
But that little
music.
because that school came to my junior high, it created me to doing what I do now.
It's rad.
That is rad.
Trippy.
Well, my cousin started his band from a musical high school, and they're pretty big. Blue October from Texas.
Nice.
So and it all started in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky. I went to Mount McGill High School, like 85 through 89. And I come from I'm the youngest of 6 kids in my family. They all went to the same high school in the 70s. The marching band was kick-ass, like all the way through. Rose parades every year, And then it took a dump in like the early 80s, 83, 84. By the time I was a freshman there was like 50 kids in the band. It sucked. And we had a new director, and we built that program back up to Rose Parade status in 4 years. But without that experience, like I wouldn't be playing drums like the way I am.
And
like,
think of it now, because
it's so important to have those kind of programs.
Oh, yeah.
Most schools now don't even have that. They
Not
got
at
rid
all.
of the arts.
They're
they got
just-
rid of the
yeah.
industrial trades, and
They just take all the funding out of the arts and the music and put it into whatever.
My stepdaughter from the school right up here, the middle school, because I had a violin. I had traded a violin for a piece of art or something. I'm like, I want a violin. Because I always wanted to add strings to my heavy, like droney, guttural music.
Right.
But I never learned. So she's like, oh, I want to play it. And this was, oh God, I think she was 10 or 11. And because of that and doing those, and then when she went to even Point Loma, she was still doing instruments. So she can do the saxophone, tuba. She did marching band, tuba. She can pretty much pick up any instrument, and she can understand it, and she can read music and all that, which is amazing.
That's great.
And for me, growing up in Mira Mesa, I graduated in 86. If it wasn't for all the art classes, like all of them, I wouldn't have gotten out of high school.
Yeah.
But music, which is funny, is I took I took a guitar class and I got a D. The only thing I really brought out of that was I was using the freaking music stand, and I was trying to loosen it up to pull it up, and it came, and I got this scar right above my nose. It just ping.
I did the same exact thing once.
And the teacher told me to go home and deal. So I went home and I told my mom, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just fuck it. I'll just go skate. She's like, no, put a Band-Aid on it and go back to school. And all the guys made fun of me in there. Oh, you fucking suck. So that's why I ended up doing vocals. One of the bands I tried out was Mind's Eye, John's old band.
Oh, John.
And they denied me. I've been denied by some of the weirdest bands. But
You could have been a world-class violinist.
I fucking couldn't play that thing if I had to. It's still to this day, but that's why I play the bass, and I play it like a guitar, because it's my way of saying,
Fuck
screw
out.
you, pal.
Yeah, fuck out.
And I'd use all the distortion and all that.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the arts in the schools, that's one of the things that they're, canceling out more and more and more and more.
Yep. And it's going to be the demise of our culture, man. I'll tell you right now.
You just,
Well, definitely things aren't going to be like they were back in the day.
They will never
I mean,
be the same.
Just
yeah.
like the scene that
Video games have
we were
overtaken
around.
learning an instrument. It's, You're fucked.
It's even like
Yeah.
like what Jerm was bringing up with this company of these kids who were trying to put these shows together, and
yeah.
it was we're trying to guide them and teach them what they needed to do, and technology is just kind of messed a lot of stuff up. Actually,
Yeah.
it's made things easy, but it's also
Yeah, I mean, there's
made
good
things
and bad
hard.
to both.
Yeah.
There's definitely good and bad to both. I taught at the School of Rock for almost a year. It was a tough
in LA.
tough gig. No, it was in Vista.
Okay.
Okay. They have one in OB for a little while.
Yeah, and man, there'd be like a 5-year-old kid that could just kill it on Led Zeppelin, and there'd be a 14-year-old kid that just didn't know his right from left. It's like you either have it or you don't.
Well, look
And
at
it's like,
Alon Rubin.
you find the kids that have
You guys-
some natural talent and fucking push them.
You guys
into
were
those
Yeah.
you were Alon Rubin, right? 9-year-old kid just pounding the drums with FON
Right.
back at Metro, and now he's been inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with 9 Inch Nails.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
Got to start at Metro.
Right.
Soma.
Yeah.
I mean, identify these kids early on. If you have a natural talent for that kind of stuff, push them into that. If If you have a natural talent for math, push them into. I mean, that push is a wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Encourage.
It's the same.
Piano, drums, guitar, music.
At least have it available.
Sing.
And not push them, don't stack up the odds and, you're not good enough. It's the same thing with skateboards because for a while I was taking skateboards and I'd make them completes and I was giving away to kids. No strings attached. I didn't post the pictures of the kids or anything. It's just realistically I got, I don't know, probably about $1,000 in donations, which with my connections, I was able to make that basically about $3,000 worth. Right. All my time, all my money, but the thing of giving a skateboard to a kid, just like, you don't have to ride it right now. Yep. You could pick it up in 20 years. Right. You could be like me, 53, and think about skateboards all the fucking time. Yeah. Same thing with music and art. And, my daughter, she does illustration. It's all on computer stuff. So I don't know how to do it, but
there's
she's
people like
really
me. I love
talented.
the art of skateboarding. I love the look of the decks. I love surfing. I can't do either one to save my ass. I can barely snowboard.
Right.
And that was 20 years ago. But I still love the art of it. I love to watch people do it. Like, there's nothing to say that. Like, well, because I can't do it, I don't like it or whatever.
Right.
It's like music. There's a lot of people that can't play music and they love it, obviously.
Music appreciation.
Right, music appreciation classes, on and on. So, yeah, there's a place in this world for all things.
Yeah.
Art.
So, Jeff, what band are you in now?
Currently playing with Johnny Wagon and the Tennessee Sons. We haven't done much since the pandemic.
And what's the style of that music?
I like to call...
I thought you quit.
No, I never quit.
You told me that like 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
I like to call it a cross
Johnny.
between Elvis and Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Nice.
Wait, didn't you tell me that like a couple weeks ago?
I never said that.
He quit for a day and then went back.
Thanks, Dan. Never said that. Thank you.
He must have dreamed it.
No,
I get frustrated with music.
Okay,
sometimes.
that's what it was then.
And I like my time off from it. And it's been a nice break.
Okay.
Because I've been doing it so long that hauling my drums around to gigs and setting up and pulling down.
A lot of work. You
just get a natural burnout that happens. And you're like, having to reprieve from it for like a year is
all
kind of
drummers
nice.
Needs a tech.
But, right, that's true.
Yep.
I've never been able to afford one. But
I was your roadie.
yeah. The closest I ever got was Dan helping me. It certainly wasn't Jon Pebsworth. He would sit there and watch me load my drums every day. I love you, John. He's like, I'm a singer. I don't fucking load drums.
I'll be at the bar.
Gear.
My next life, I'm going to be a fucking flute player, asshole.
Speaking of, don't we have Jeff on flute? And blowing bubbles. Oh, we already discussed that part.
He's a flautist? Wow.
Crazy.
But I miss it, and I want to get back to it because it's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, once it's in your blood, you can't get it out.
But my brother Rusty, is a great guitarist. We have a little pseudo studio we called Shabby Roads at his garage, and we record, almost 2 or 3 times a month. And we'll do let's do a Beatles song, let's do a Bowie song, let's do an Eagles song. And we'll just go in and I've got my drums there. We've got the full recording gear. We got the mics, got everything. And
nice.
And that's a lot of fun because then you can, I'm into the recording aspect of music more than I am maybe the live performance at the moment. But I miss live performing for sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. A lot of people were missing it for a couple of years there.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy. You took it for granted and then it's gone.
I took up painting too here and there. Over the years, I got some watercolors during my stint with my stomach issue. I went to Walmart or Walgreens one night. It was just like watercolor, paper, and I just painted for like a month. It was fun.
Pretty good,
awesome.
too, though.
Yeah. Any outlet you can
need to
get.
start selling your artwork.
Yeah. Etsy, here I come.
Yeah, I even had an art gallery at one point. It was a dark arts gallery, and it was pretty crazy. It was kind of the same thing. I didn't really bring in
Well, you did.
You know, the common.
You did make some money because some of them you signed John Wayne Gacy, and those were selling.
Those those did really good, and I would give them a pubic hair, and I didn't tell them who it was from, but I didn't tell them who it wasn't from. No, the gallery was called the Lunatic Fringe, and that's when I was just doing primarily skateboards, so like the canvases and stuff in here. And then I even got into like charcoal, and I love watercolors. I like Marilyn Manson's style, and I've seen some of his work and I was inspired by it. But my daughter could do it, but I was never very good with watercolors.
Yeah.
But as far as music, my whole thing is being able to hold a band together, or actually put a band together and not have the drama. Because I don't tour. I work all the time. I like being at home. I do, and Jerry and I have discussed this a lot, what I miss is booking the shows. I miss setting it up. I just miss all that.
Being the facilitator.
Yeah, and then if I can throw my band in and do a few songs, it'll motivate me to actually put together a project. But other than that, my wife and I will mess around, and I'll do some heavy distortion sometimes, but I'll find myself sitting in the stool just using a phaser, and we're just playing whatever mellow stuff, or I'll even grab the acoustic guitar and play.
Yeah.
It's in the blood, but to go through all the work like touring. Dan, how old are you now? 73? No. I can't.
Minus 20, 53.
I couldn't do it. We're the same age. I couldn't. The idea of even doing like a weekend's worth of gigs.
I'm still on tour every day right now.
Well, doing short stints is fun, right? Like for 3 weeks.
I live my life.
Yeah.
So it's
2 weeks or a weekend. Yeah. But 3 months, fuck no, I couldn't do it anymore. Unless it was like luxury, Hilton, private jet, masseuse.
Well, I'm thinking about it, my
Caviar.
Ford F-150, and
No, I could not do that anymore.
But
I could, but I don't want to. Right?
I've always admired
if you
that.
made enough to pay the bills, you would.
Sure, if the money was
Yeah.
right, of course, we'd do anything. But
And even though when you're touring, you don't really get to see all the sights, but you get to go to countries and you get to meet people.
Yeah.
And I mean, what better way to meet
I was
people?
going to say we had a good time in Virginia. That was a blast.
All right.
Had
I
fun.
never knew
Yeah.
what plane flights cost until I was like 30 years old. I mean, they were paid for all the time. Like I was lucky. Like record labels paid for us to fly here, there. It was like when I had to actually buy a plane ticket one time, I was like, "Fuck, this is expensive."
especially
Yeah.
especially international.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, when you're doing international, is you shipping any equipment, or is it just the basics, or is it even like is a snare coming along?
Backline
You bring your
provided.
bass, you bring your guitar, we bring horns.
Maybe
and
cymbals.
drums. Yeah, cymbals and
Yeah, they
kick.
provide like the bulk
and
of
then
the
your
amps.
kick.
And that's
The
how
kit.
we tour now.
Really?
If you can, that's the best way to go because it's just light and easy.
Yep.
See, I would want my amp set exactly the way I
See,
want,
that's where people get is like, I need my drum set. Like, dude, just get over it.
because I'm
They also have the
freaking.
same split.
I'm a prima donna. It's set perfectly
That's
for
when
my
you bring your
room.
pedals, Jerry. You just bring your pedals. The amp's the amp. You could say I need a Marshall or a Vox or whatever.
Yeah, I need a 25-year-old JBL 218 cabinet with a beat up old.
But when you're hauling a trailer and an RV or a bus a van, then yeah, you bring your own shit. If you got to fly across the pond, yeah,
Yeah.
you ain't flying with your amps and drums.
Well, we made a mistake once. We had, I believe it was Morbid Angel coming in, and he had requested the specs of the drum set were easy to find, but he wanted a black set. And for whatever reason, we couldn't get a black set, so we got him a white set.
Okay, the opposite of black.
And I mean, just coming in, looking at it, we might as well have like cut his dog open and sprayed it out. And speaking of Gacy sort of stuff, because he just looked at it like,
Can you spray paint?
Oh, I'm gonna burn this fucking town.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, just
What
like
did they think they were? A reggae band? They were a metal band. What the hell is that shit? Only the reggae bands had to provide a backline.
the
for it.
drums looked stupid, to be honest. They were so because he has such a
Who the
huge
fuck
kit.
makes a white drum kit? My God.
But on the flip side, trying to get Flipper to come on stage and Len's yelling at me, "Well, get him some fucking drugs. Just get him his drugs." I'm like, what the fuck do I look like? A pharmacy? I'm not a fucking junkie. Well, he's punk rock. You got to.
Oh my!
And then they were trying to talk me into going up there. I don't know any fucking Flipper songs.
Flipper.
It doesn't matter. Just fucking play an open E. Oh, I can do that. Freaking. And then I think it was one of the road crew that came up, but
That was like that was like the famous Bad Brain show with no HR.
oh my God. Yeah.
HR just didn't show up. What
HR
happened?
did not show up.
Oh my God!
At all.
So did the crowd just sing along or what?
No. I was talking about Daddy Longlegs. Damien
Yeah.
played.
Didn't Damien go up there? And then I could swear
Isn't that like
Steiny.
all musicians' dream? Like the singer's not here tonight. Anyone know all of Bad Brain songs?
then-
Like yeah, me.
Yeah, even I went.
Chino from the Deftones sang.
That's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Because they were on tour with Bad Brains.
I would have gone up and done a song.
That's when Bad Brains was signed to Maverick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But HR just, I mean, he's got his mental issues anyways.
Yeah, totally.
So he's kind of
I saw them play at
flighty.
But he did
Kane.
wish John a
They
happy
were great.
birthday on his 50th.
Oh, really? HR?
Yeah.
Oh, I would.
Yeah, you didn't see it, the video?
No, I didn't see that
You guys
either.
didn't see that
You
video?
fucking kidding?
Oh, Nunu.
Oh,
She
she
bought it.
Well,
yeah,
because
she
you buy it.
yeah, she bought like
you
a
buy it.
happy yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
These
I did
days,
see that. You're right.
I don't know how you can do it, but if you're an artist, I guess you can put yourself.
Yeah, a lot
on
of
this
artists do
platform
that now.
Yeah.
And pay me $200 or $300,
like,
and I'll wish. you
Hey,
a happy
Dan
birthday.
Albert.
Yeah,
Good to see you
I know
again.
people
Happy
that
birthday.
do
Yeah,
that,
so,
other podcast people, and
Yeah.
I thought about doing it, but they
Corolla
would
does
pay
it.
me not to say anything.
I'm
So I
available.
thought, yeah, money's money.
I wish you a happy birthday. Just buy me a beer. How about that?
Happy birthday.
Or as
Thanks for the
Jimmy
beer.
Fela says in Tide Pods, give me some
Oh
Tide
yeah,
Pods.
some Tide Pods and Meisterbrow. Yeah, no, I thought that would be kind of fun to do, but I mean, it's HR. I mean, man, whenever this is my go-to, whenever I'm at a record store and I'm trying to think, well, what do I want? Well, I'll go look at Black Sabbath. I'll go and look at Husker Du, Bad Brains.
Yeah.
And I always go, and it's usually something I already have, but I mean, they're just ingrained in my mind forever. I mean, that, and
Early
to
Bad
see,
Brains records are fucking amazing, man. When you just stop
Oh,
and listen to them, you just go, yes, this is what my brain needs right now.
it's just absolute chaos.
yeah.
And it's crazy who did the
symphony
Who did
of-
Rock for Light?
Who do you mean?
Who produced Rock for Light?
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
Rick Ocasek.
Rick Ocasek.
Oh, Kasich. I would say, yeah, Rick Rubin. Rick Ocasek. Yeah.
The Cars.
Yeah. Which, another local band that,
And he
Oh,
did,
God, it hasn't
and he
been brought
did
up.
the Quickness too, right? I think he did both those.
And like the first two Weezer records. Rick Ocasek's an amazing producer.
yeah.
Let alone just the Cars records, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, it passed away.
Rest in peace,
couple,
Rick.
couple years ago.
Yeah, he's one of my musical heroes for sure. He's a badass. Him and, I mean, the Cars were fucking cool as shit, right?
I respect him now more than I did
I grew up
listening
on
to an
that
A
stuff,
track.
man, yeah.
Me too.
It took me a few years when I was a kid to discern who Benjamin Orr and Rick Ocasek's voices were because I always thought they were the same guy. I was like, oh, there's two different.
Singers, yeah.
Yeah, it's Rick Ocasek and Benjamin Orr. But yeah, the band's fucking
And then
awesome.
how many, all the hits they had? Crazy.
A million. It was
Yeah.
fucking insane.
And that's just a different level. Once you reach that level, I mean, it's hard to really do anything wrong. You know,
But
no
you got
matter
that-
what you do, you could
you're
do
in
a
that
children's
formula, you got
album.
that
To a
thing.
certain level, then you can put out shit and people eat it.
Yeah.
Best friends,
Yeah.
squirrel
Just
friends.
gobble it up.
Yeah, I hear it on the radio these days.
That, I don't want to name any
Someone has
names of.
Someone has a hit
Boom.
and they'll put out another one. It's like,
Dun,
garbage.
looking down the street.
Yeah,
eat it up.
And that's the other thing. How many bands can actually, you know, they do their first album, which is amazing, and how can they follow up? Not too many bands can do that, you know, where they can just keep writing hits, you know.
Well, the thing that I'm still tripping out on is being able to tour in your 50s and not be at that level to where you can go, I'm going to put out an album of fart songs. Now, if I did that, people would be like, I thought you already did 7 of them. But, to be able to tour and to be able to bring in an audience and still have fun doing it. I mean, that's, and not be
we obviously
the slave
have to talk
to a
about
label.
the fucking Rolling Stones. I mean,
Well, they're
ancient.
they don't answer to anyone.
And I've seen them recently, and they're fucking badass. It's insane. Like, to see Mick Jagger on stage is quite a phenomenon.
With his new heart or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine
that's the life.
going to see the Beatles.
Hey, Rolling Stones are looking for a drummer.
I heard. Thanks, Steve Jordan. Get out of the way.
So no, that being said, it's just I still think it's great that you're still doing it.
I can't imagine playing music when I'm 87. Like, I'd be like,
Would you want to play music at 87?
maybe if I was healthy, but I'd probably.
You look at some of these guys that are playing, and they need to.
I'd rather be sitting on a porch sipping a mint julep.
I just seen I seen a
But
podcast
I can understand if it's in your blood and you just
No,
wanna keep
obviously,
playing.
I would love to play music till the day I die. Probably will.
Well, that's when you just get to the point of where you say, all right, well, I'm going to bring 5 cats. We're just going to show up at a dive bar and we're going to go in there and we're going to do a set.
Yep.
We're going to get free drinks and we're going to be showered with money because people are going to be like, what the hell are these guys doing here?
Well,
and then you go and hide for a
bands
year.
that hire the young cats like Paul McCartney did. He's got a young band. It's just Paul McCartney. But the Stones, I mean, fucking those guys, they didn't tell they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Insane.
They got some youth in there, but, Ronnie.
You guys watched the
and Keith
recent induction, I can't even say it, for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Foo Fighters, and they played with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, Dave Grohl has played. Well, here's one. Okay, so you got Dave Grohl that took.
It was actually
Scream.
Paul McCartney that inducted them.
Right.
Paul did?
Yeah,
because Dave did a song with Paul.
Well, they played Beatles songs.
Oh my Lord!
And Paul, they played a Beatles song, and Paul sang. So it was the Foo Fighters playing like "Get Back."
And then a few years ago, when they did the documentary on
the keyboard, I mean not the keyboard, the soundboard,
Sound City.
Yeah, Sound City.
And they brought in the Neve board, and then Paul McCartney and Dave and Chris all wrote a song that, whatever they did that on the Grammys or something. It was great.
Wow,
pretty cool. But yeah, just like think about it, like I'm playing with fucking Paul McCartney, like shit like that blows my mind.
Making it to that level, being at that level.
Yeah,
I don't think Nirvana would have ever made it as far as the Foo Fighters.
No, they would have burned out and faded away. I think
not longevity wise, but I think in their overall mystique, they're
because even even the Foo Fighters put better songs out than Nirvana.
Oh, blasphemy!
I'm right there with Jerry. I've never been a fan of Nirvana.
The only song that was catchy,
I
Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah. That was it.
I'm just gonna.
There's a few people who I have not booked that I
I'm
think
a
back.
huge Foo Fighters fan.
They played Soma. They played Metro.
Yeah. And for me, that was great because there's Pat Smear, the Jerms.
Yeah.
Because everyone are you named after the Jerms? No. Why? Oh my God! And I used to get so frustrated as a kid. Actually, I still do. But
I have a huge affection for Kurt Cobain's songwriting. I think he just, in the short amount of time he was on this planted some really fucking amazing music.
Yeah,
cannot take away from that guy.
What would he be doing now if he was still alive? Like all
Probably
kinds of crazy shit. Probably
trying to plan Courtney Love's murder. Hopefully.
But
now,
okay,
and we were talking about this earlier. Another guy that's amazing, creative artist is Mike Patton.
Yeah,
big time, Mike Patton.
Raimondo Kane.
No,
who would get an orchestra and sing in Italian?
Mike Patton, I put up there with some of the greatest artists of all time. Yeah, absolutely, he's amazing.
His coattails, his tuxedo jacket is what I wore at the New Year's Eve when Len's like, I think we should wear a suit, wear a proper jacket. I'm like, what the? The only one I have is plaid, and it's a bondage
Cool.
jacket.
Yeah,
Unless I wear leather.
How about a street jacket you got on the wall over there?
Yeah, exactly. I got to be crazy not to wear that one. But so Mike they came through with whatever band, and he left a whole bag of stuff.
Mr.
That's
Bungle.
badass.
It was Bungle,
Bungle, yeah.
and there was his tails in it. And I'm like,
But also,
all right.
Perfect.
also
So I
Faith,
wore that.
That's
Faith
great.
Faith No More played Metro a couple of times too. So
And then he played with his wife. No, that was
that was Eddie.
Eddie. Oh yeah,
Hovercraft.
yeah. We talked about him earlier.
I wanted to
too.
thank you again, Jeremy, for letting me get backstage on a couple of those moments.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Did I let you?
I don't think you let
I was
me,
gonna say that earlier too. We always just show up. And
but
Yeah.
dude, can I get in?
you,
You're like,
you were working the back door.
Yeah,
and Smashing Pumpkins were playing, and I somehow snuck through the gate, and
Which is crazy because we
I
talked
gave
about how
you a
that was
knowing
locked down.
nod, and you were just like, "Yeah, it's cool." And then the second time was the Jim Rose Circus.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wasn't that rad?
And I walked back there, and there's Eddie Vedder and his wife at the time. What's her name? Beth. And just had a Heineken and a cigarette. And she gave me a Batmobile candy at the time because Batman was a movie that was out. She's
Yeah.
like, Eddie loves Batman. She's like, here. And I was just like, just talking with Eddie and Beth, like, no big deal. And you just like kind of let me in on that because you could have said, hey, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So thanks.
And wasn't O was back there too.
Oh, was back there,
Yeah.
yeah. So I kind of knew a little bit of people, so it looked like I was supposed to be
always
there. but-
back in every
Show.
Yeah.
Dude, I was at a Pixie show.
back
I was
at a show
backstage
right
at the
now.
Pixie show, but Jesus Christ.
But that was the thing is, I don't really harp on it too much, but as far as when bands would come through, like we talked earlier about being disrespected by bands. So the biggest ones were the Orange County bands. Sublime would come in, and now I understand more of their story and why they were how they were, but their crowd was just as bad. So you got, 20 drunks coming at me, and I'm not worried about them. I'll take them all on
Right.
because, I'm the gatekeeper. And if not, I'll get in my fucking car and go home and let Len run the show. But it was Len, harping on me. Who the fuck? And then, of course, the Vice and, because we always had someone looking.
Looking down.
Well,
And then,
the problem, we were all ages, so we had to really watch with the alcohol. And,
Oh, yeah.
and the neighborhood, we had to keep the neighborhood clean. And a
Well,
lot of
it was,
people don't-
and then I was saying Pennywise was another one, but the local bands that treated me with respect and weren't like, oh, we're above you now because we're playing the main stage, then I was totally cool. But when people started, the list of those people, we could be here till tomorrow morning.
Yep.
I got disrespected so much, and I put all my heart into what I was doing. I just had my work face on, but if someone respected me and gave me proper respect, made it easy whenever booking or whatever, it's like,
Great.
Yeah.
come on in, because it's a mutual. I wouldn't have a job if you guys didn't do your jobs.
Yeah.
Do you know who the number one person that was always at Soma every weekend?
Other than me,
Somebody you guys know
That was at Soma.
all the time.
From a band?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I used to get him in every weekend. If he wasn't on tour, I got him in every
oh
weekend.
god, there's gonna be a couple people I'm thinking of.
Scott Russo.
No. No, it was Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Tony?
Tony was at Soma every weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was like a local fixture there. I should have gave him a security shirt. He could have just been helping.
No kidding.
Right.
Tony was there all the time. Why do you think he put me on the first person ever thanked me on a record was Tony, and that was a 28 Teeth record.
Oh,
if you
shit.
if you go the very last column with the credits there, he goes, "Oh yeah, fucking thanks Jerry Brooks for always getting me in at Soma."
Oh, sick.
Yeah, he was there every weekend.
Well, at least I was thanked before Jerry. Probably wasn't fun. But, going back to that, just another funny note. It's not really funny. It is now, but to keep the PR for the club, Len liked me at a distance. He liked to use me as like the blame and, just for certain things. But when it came down to like when he started building his boat, he didn't want me anywhere near that shipyard because I was just, whatever. I wasn't respectable enough. So he kind of kept me at a leash as far as when we had to deal with whatever, the police, fire marshal, whoever's coming through. But there was plenty of times that I put out fires that he would start with band members. So it was kind of a weird juxtaposition for me to be in, to not really know, what I'm going to be getting into that night and who's going to show up. So I was always on high alert. There's a guy on the freaking roof one time, and he was up there screaming some shit about Vietnam. I climbed, it was in the back, so it was on the low level. So I went up on that level, and I was trying to get him down. I was just going to fucking push him off. I was pissed. I'm like, in the back of my head going, and Len's yelling at me, and then finally Mike came up and dealt with it. And I was
Mike. I remember Mike, long hair.
But,
Mike.
I was worried about what was going to happen to me if I fucked up.
Right.
God, no, like, when Perry Farrell was there for whatever show it was, and I think it was Smashing Pumpkins. Fugazi. And he's walking around with his wine, and I had to explain to him, hey.
Perry and his wine.
Yeah, and now he's completely mellowed out. I've talked to him a little bit through direct message on Instagram, just kind of jots, because I like what he's doing and what he's trying to do and how he's giving back.
Yeah.
Sobering up some people really needed to, and he's still trying to do things. The Lollapalooza was a cool thing. That was so over the top, because we went there to talk to Golden Voice about working with them. And I was so out of my element at that thing. That was the first or the second. It was the one that Green Day played. So, of course, we had to go and say hey to them. The second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or was it? No. It wasn't the second one. It was the third one. Pearl Jam played the second one.
Yeah, I still have the pass on the fridge, but, I liked our world. Again, I prefer the atmosphere of everything of downtown.
Well, that's probably,
Union.
thinking about it now, that's probably where Lynn got the idea to do the New Year's Eve shows. That was because of Lollapalooza with all the bands.
Festival things, yeah.
Yeah, so that's I
Probably.
think that's how that came.
I went to the one at San Diego State with Green Day opened, and it was Pumpkins, I think, played that same year. And then I went to the Irvine Meadows
That was what
show.
the Breeders were on it too.
Yeah, Breeders.
And everybody
left.
was throwing dirt at them.
Kim got hit with a water ball, and she walked off stage.
They only did like one
half
song.
a song. You're like,
yeah,
come on, Kim.
Yep.
I was there for a while, but I was in the side area where they had the smaller stage and vendors. So I was bouncing around talking to sound guys and whoever around there. And then I left, and I came back later, and it wasn't my gig. I couldn't. It was just so fucking big.
Yeah.
It's like, it just didn't appeal to me. But it was interesting, and the dynamic of it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's insane.
We started at it as Gathering of the Tribes, and then it became Lollapalooza. And that was Perry that started.
Yeah. It's his insight into doing that, I just find.
And, that's how Ozfest started too, because Sharon reached out to the people at Lollapalooza and say, hey, Ozzy wants to play. And they're like, no, we don't want that kind of, we don't want metal.
It's not our vibe.
Yeah.
So then Sharon said, well, screw it. We'll start our own festival.
Yeah.
And then also Warp started, Kevin Lyman, who actually worked for Golden Voice. He left Golden Voice and started Warp Tour.
Yeah.
So
I went to the Lollapalooza at Irvine Meadows. This has to be 95 or 6. It was Boss Tones, I think, opened. Remember Irvine Meadows, right?
Yep.
Hole played. It was like Mike Watt on a side stage, Porno for Pyros on a side stage. Like, it was just, it was cool. You could go to like smaller stages to see fucking Perry Farrell and Porno and shit. It was awesome.
Yeah, I went to I only went to 2 of them. So I went to the first one in 91, which was 9 Inch Nails, Jane's Addiction, Susie and the Banshees, Living Color, Body Count.
So Pearl Jam played the second Lollapalooza?
Yeah, Pearl Jam played, because I went to go to that one, but I didn't have tickets and couldn't afford the scalp tickets. So, and we went up to San Jose to see that one. So
yeah, we were at Irvine Meadows. We were watching Mike Watt play, and Perry Farrell was like side stage watching Mike Watt. And we got done. My girlfriend ran up to Perry Farrell, and she's like, "Can you sign my ticket?" And he goes, "Nah, baby, but I'll give you a hug." And like put his arm around her, and we just walked backstage with Perry and his entourage. And there's like the big black security guards are sitting there, and they're like, this one guy goes, "Yeah, Perry needs 2 bottles of red wine right now." And it was like instantly people just descended. It was like red wine, popped the bottle, walked on stage, and they started their set. It was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
So you just walked you backstage. That's why you wouldn't sign anything.
Yeah, I walked on stage and was sitting next to Stephen Perkins while they played. I was like, this is fucking cool.
When he came to Soma, he wrote a poem for my girlfriend and signed it.
Yeah, he's a super cool, down to earth dude.
Yeah,
a little eccentric, but as long as he's got his red wine, he's fine. Man.
Yeah. I could relate to him more.
I hung out with Perkins on Ozfest. He played with the Methods of Mayhem.
Yeah, Perkins is super cool too.
And then he played Soma with Infectious Grooves.
Oh wow! Oh yeah.
So many great fucking moments, man, from those days. All stemming around Soma for sure.
The crazy thing is
Thank
to
God
be able
I got
to
cut my teeth on those.
We were able to create something to bring in the national acts.
Yeah.
Which
you got huge acts of Pumpkins playing at that little fucking venue.
All the up and coming bands. I mean, and like we were talking about earlier, Union Street, Tool, and Rage Against the Machine on the same bill.
Yeah.
With the Electric Love Hogs headlining.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that was when they just got all the fresh equipment, and that was Maynard's birthday. Because Owen and I were talking with Maynard, and we're like, well, come over and we'll have some 40s. You know, we're going to get some Mickeys after the show. And he's like, oh, I can't. You know, we got the tour bus. I'm like, there's a fucking, you can park it on the street nearby.
They had a tour bus at that time?
Yeah.
Because that was like,
or at least that's, yeah, I guess where they
that
did.
was opiate.
Yeah, because it was,
and they were opening. They were an opening band.
Yeah, it's got to be that one.
They could have still had a tour bus then. I mean, labels spring for buses.
What I'm trying
at
to
this
remember
point,
what
I
the
don't.
label was at that time, because that was only
They
like
just
their
got
first album
picked
wasn't
up.
even an album. It was like an EP.
Yeah, but they blew up pretty quick, didn't they?
No, it took a little bit. Because remember they were opening for Rollins. Like they played Iguanas with Rollins.
I guess I just caught them on there like when they blew up. I wasn't a fan of them. Really,
and they played Metro several times. So they had actually the third. They didn't blow up until after the third album.
No.
Yeah, because this was at Union when they had.
That's what I'm saying. They were.
Is that the one with the crazy like stop motion video, the like little figures?
I
and stuff?
think so.
Was that like
No, that was that your song you're talking about, Sober.
Yeah, Sober.
And
yeah.
that was the second album, I believe.
Yeah, so they were pretty big by then, right?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Video on MTV. That was pretty huge.
Yeah.
The third album they played at. Actually, the third album came out, Enema. It came out.
No, you're thinking Enema the State by Blink.
No.
Just kidding.
No, that was a big album. So that album came out. They were playing at Metro when that album came out because we went and got it. I have the vinyl and they all signed it.
Cool.
So
He's another one who's got a winery now.
yep.
Yeah.
In
Maynard.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, Maynard.
That's the gig to get into, man. Let's all start a fucking booze company. What are we doing?
I tried to start. I want to do red rum.
Yeah. Hey.
I
Dude,
did.
Talking about bands with the
I
booze,
pitched it to
you know, the
people.
machines they have their own whiskey now, and
Yeah,
they also
I
have
saw
their own
that.
coffee now.
Yeah. That's another thing. Coffee and whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to have our own hummus.
Come on, let's do it. I got some money on Invest.
That that person. There's oh god, with all the microbreweries, and then as we were talking about, like No Effects had theirs until they were cancel cultured. But realistically, I mean, it's kind of unless you come up with a really good project for longevity.
Red rum sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we need some red rum.
Oh, there ended up being
Just make rum and put red food coloring in it. We're done.
yeah. Well, there's
Dude, I haven't had red rum in like 20 years. Remember they used to actually make it?
yeah. I have a bottle in there.
Bust it out,
I
brother.
didn't even know that.
We are I was talking to
I haven't had that in so long, like since like I was 21.
trying to think a local distillery. God, I can't remember the name of them, but I pitched it and I'm like, yeah, we can promote it with the skateboarding and blah 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 blah. And I think I got like maybe a conversation going before I was completely blown off. But then like as usual, my wife's like, "Oh, fuck them, we'll do it ourselves."
Exactly.
So then we're thinking about wine because I love wine.
Me too, man.
And she comes from a restaurant family, they had a restaurant for almost 30 years. So she was, doing wine tasting and matching when she was, not even a teenager really.
I mean, if you can brew your own beer or distill your own whiskey, you could probably grow your own wine grapes without a vineyard.
Oh, my old guitarist from Sinson 77, he made his own and bottled it at his house.
Yeah. My old bass player in G-Spot's dad made plum wine, and that shit was fucking potent. So I don't know. But you
was it
ferment
sweet?
anything, I guess it's...
Was it?
Oh,
sweet?
yeah.
All I know is when he opened the jug of it, you could smell it like half a block away.
So it was Pruno then. It was like,
No,
like prison stuff.
It basically was, right? But it was prune wine that he had fermented. It was fucking kick your ass shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to make a proper wine without having a winery and the blah, 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 and the whole distillery or whatever they do, oak barrels and all that shit.
Yeah.
You gotta
I
jump
think
in
it'd
there
be
with your
fun
feet
as
and
hell.
smash it.
Yeah, I was watching something the other day where a guy was going through the process of making wine that they do. I don't remember what the hell it was. I always find these weird things and I just sort of stare at the TV. Now with the puppy, I just sit there and I'm petting Pugsley and just, doing commentary. And he just sits there and looks at it and will look at me. And in my head, he's going, yeah, we should make some fucking wine here, Dad. I'm a dog, but wine sounds good.
Let's do it.
And then I'll go on to something else and then usually end up on skateboards. But I end up going down a rabbit hole sometimes of
You gotta
looking
at least
for
try.
bands.
You got to experiment with a bottle of wine.
I would love to. To be able to create, I love getting in the kitchen and cooking.
Oh, me too, man.
And we come up with great shit. My wife's an amazing cook. So she's inspired me to be able to start coming up with some cool shit. But I always wanted to do, beer or wine. I really like vodka.
I do too.
Me
But-
three.
It's one of my favorites.
I don't really, like
You got any
drinking
potatoes lying around? Let's make some fucking vodka.
Yeah. And then throw some red food coloring in it and just
Call it red vodka. Beet juice.
or there's something, just the creative process. That's where I always find myself.
I'm right there with you, brother. And any form, art, painting, dancing, music,
Yeah.
sex, whatever.
Well, we've hit over 2 hours on this podcast.
Nice.
I think it's the longest we've ever done.
And my stomach is growling, so I should probably do something down the gullet.
Does it feel a minute over an hour and 68 minutes?
We appreciate you guys coming out.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sitting this along and telling us some nitty gritty. And
Talking shit.
Yeah, always.
Did you get all your questions you wanted?
I could go another hour or so.
I could too.
Because there's always questions.
Bonnie, go get some beers. I know.
No, he said go get some beers.
Then it'll be the drunken podcast. Very slurring.
Awesome, lads. Good to see you all.
Yeah. Thanks again for coming, you guys.
Cheers.
This podcast was recorded at Red Rum Skates. Mixed and mastered by me, Jared. Music provided by Break Anchor.